Howdy, I wanted to talk about Nobody Nowhere. This is a smaller experience game. It's a single player narrative driven game with a few little gameplay elements added in here and there. If you're a fan of cyberpunk, a lot of Ghost in the Shell, this game reminded me of Ghost in the Shell a lot. Some elements of Blade Runner, Cyberpunk 2077. If you like that genre, I would highly recommend checking this game out. This is a side scroller as well. It's got an old school game look to it. It's reminiscent of a couple other games that I played recently, like Space for the Unbound or The Last Time I Saw You. This game, I think, is up there for me with those games. I thought those two games in particular were some of the best games I played in the last couple years, and those have stuck with me. And I feel like this game will as well. I don't know if it's technically as good as those, but I had a great time with this game. It was really well made. The puzzle gameplay elements that get inserted into the experience are kind of simple enough. You know, the game helps guide you along. It's not that complicated, but the story is interesting. You know, it's the classic story of like replicants, androids, that sort of thing. You know, you've kind of seen it before, but the way it's told is a little bit different. You sometimes switch between characters and switches perspectives, and the game itself isn't that long. You can finish it, I think, in like a couple hours, if that. It didn't take me too long to get through it, and it was a nice shorter experience because of that. There's not like jump platforming or anything all that much. Again, it's just you're walking a lot running. Sometimes you might have to stealth your way through, but it's not super complicated. But the music in it is really good, especially the opening scene they have, and the final music beat at the end of the game is really good. I really like the music of this game. I think the sound, like the audio of the game, was really good. The audio sound effects just kind of help carry the game forward, because this game doesn't have voiceover in it at all. It's kind of, you know, that classic visual novel text dialogue. So the sound really needs to kick it up a notch for this kind of experience, and I think it really does. Just even the sounds of rain and footsteps is really good. And as far as like the game goes too, where the game builds up and crescendos, it gets to a certain point, and it ended in a way I didn't necessarily expect. I mean, you could kind of see where it was going, but when it happens in a way that's very kind of like disturbing and sad, and also very matter of fact. And even if you see it coming, it just like witnessing that moment, it's just like, oh boy, like it hits you hard, like in the gut when you get to the finale of this game. Even though it's such a short experience, the characters and all that, you know, make you react this way when you reach the end point, which is kind of hard to do in a short time and experience, but that's what I like. Considering how long the game was, it just showed like, hey, this game doesn't need to be 12 hours long to tell this type of story. You can tell this type of story in a lot more condensed version, as long as you know, write the characters well enough and that sort of thing. And I feel like this is gonna be another one of those games that goes right under the radar. I feel like I've heard nobody really talk about it. And I feel like it needs to be played. I played it on PC, you know, ran super well, used controller, worked fine. And yeah, y'all, be sure to check out Nobody Nowhere, especially if you like the cyberpunk futuristic stuff like I do. This is definitely worth your time for sure.